came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They sing on a sleepless night. Try to catch me howling at the moon.
Welcome to episode number 2 of Full Court Press, also known as FCP on YSN. You can follow us on Twitter at FCPYSN or on Facebook under Jeff Rizal. Brian, what are you drinking tonight?
Tonight, I have a Schofferhofer, and I think that's how you say it, but I think I might have butchered the name, and it's a German Hefeweizen, and that's a wheat beer. And the reason I'm drinking that tonight is because it is super refreshing on a hot day. It's a great summer beer. Real low alcohol content, so when you drink those by the pool, you can drink them all day long and not embarrass yourself. But the story for me behind this beer is, and you can find it almost anywhere now, but you know we go to Disney all the time, right? So when we'd go to Disney and go to Epcot, they would sell that in the German Pavilion. And that was always, Disney in June, it's like 150 degrees, right? And you're smoking and the kids are going crazy and you're ready to kill them. You're thinking you wasted thousands of dollars. And then you pull up to the German Pavilion. They give you a giant one of the grapefruit-infused beers, and it makes the day so much better.
You mentioned, do you oftentimes embarrass yourself when you're drinking?
Not often.
Okay.
Not very often. Not often within the last 7 days. So I have a German beer tonight, and I also want to mention that this is our second show. So the over and under for us was 2 shows.
Jackie said 2 shows and we would be done, so if we start the 3rd show,
we win it all. Whatever its bets were made for FCP
Anybody that was on
Vegas.
Jackie's side, wrong.
Right. So what do we got tonight on tonight's show?
Well, tonight's going to be a little bit different show. So we're going to do our segments first. Usually we have that tip-off interview first.
Right.
And we have the last shot last, interview last. But we're going to do them at the end because we're going to go on location to S21 Poker Room out in Hubbard. And we're going to interview Jamie and Joe Palumbo. Jamie is the owner of S21 and
721.
721,
yep.
And Joe he's Jamie's brother, and he's assistant baseball coach at Hubbard. So we're looking forward to that.
Talk a little bit of baseball with Joe.
A little baseball,
Jamie too.
Talk a little poker.
Yeah, we're going to talk about
gambling.
gambling.
Different.
Yep.
People don't think about that when they think about sports, but obviously, poker was hot, and still is hot.
So we're going to do our segments first. We're going to get in the car and go lose some money.
Yep.
All right.
Hopefully lose lots of money.
So we talked about the roster the last time. And if anybody wants to see our first show, it's still on YouTube. So
you want to watch our show? You can go to YouTube, just type in Full Court Press YSN, and our first show will be up there, as well as that podcast that we did, the Coach's Office podcast.
Yeah, I don't even really know what we are. Like, when people say, what do you have?
Famous.
I'm like, well, besides famous.
We're famous.
No, but like, I'll be like, it's not really a podcast. It's not a radio show. We don't stream.
I think people just want to see us in general.
No, what's the term that somebody said it was a vlogcast, and I don't even know what the hell that is.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, that means we're too
I'm
old
lucky I
to
can
be
get
doing all
invited
this.
to work. So I just know that people want to see us on a regular basis.
And thousands of views, right?
Well, the first episode, last time I checked, there was over 25,000 views on YouTube.
Divided by like 25,000.
Well, I think YouTube actually called. They said they want to start paying us.
Right.
To put our shows on there and our segments on there.
Right.
So before long, we'll probably be quitting our jobs. Sorry, Champion High School.
Sorry, big brothers and big sisters. I'm okay with that. All right. First episode, we talked to Cam Carson. He was our first draft pick for our roster.
Cam Carson, first draft pick.
Struggling.
Usually that first draft pick comes in, makes a big difference right from the get-go.
Have
you heard from Cam?
I have not seen one retweet, He hasn't called me yet. I haven't seen our shirt anywhere.
No comments.
I mean, we're a couple weeks in now. Nothing.
Disappointed.
And here's the thing that we
Can
thought.
we get the shirt back?
Oh yeah, we can get it.
Okay.
Back. We'll chase him.
Cam, you better start tweeting.
So what we thought though when we picked Cam with the first pick is we had to skew a little younger,
Yeah.
because we're in our 40s and,
We're 48 years
we have
old.
no Twitter follows. It's all Facebook, so it shows you how old we are, right? So we wanted to get a younger guy. Cam's struggling a little bit, but what we thought to do with our second pick is go back to the reliable.
Well, so we'll give Cam a little break. He's young.
A little break,
Yeah. Young kids come into the pros and they struggle a little bit.
They struggle early.
Whereas if you go with the older,
We're getting a veteran this second pick.
and usually they come in, they're ready to go.
And we know we're going to get results from a
Results.
veteran. Right.
Yeah.
So do you want to announce our second?
Yeah, our second pick is Donnie Riccatelli.
All right, Donnie, come on in.
Come on in, Donnie.
Yeah! We know we'll get some results from Donnie.
Donnie is a result guy.
That's what I do.
And Donnie actually reached out to Randy, who's also in-house right now, because he wasn't real happy with some of the things Randy was saying. He wanted to make sure he was on the
We'll
roster.
definitely be talking about
So
that.
talk to us a little bit about yourself, Donnie.
Yeah, what do you got, Donnie?
Well, I mean, I've grew up in McDonald, graduated from McDonald in '97. Obviously, my brother said last episode that I was a 2-time regional qualifier for basketball. Did really well in track. Football, we went to state my sophomore year. He did say that, I don't know if he said that I had a better team that made it to regionals.
He did.
He did.
And
He
he was
did.
a better player.
He did.
That's right.
Oh,
He actually,
accurate.
if I could quote Randy, I think maybe this was on a comments he said after the fact that if you guys played one-on-one, he would beat you 10-0.
I'm pretty sure I put my brother in retirement when we played one-on-one last time, but we'll get into that later.
All right.
You just recently you've coached girls basketball at Boardman.
Yeah, for the last 9 years, I'm actually taking a break from coaching girls basketball. My daughter's coming up as a freshman, and it'd just be nice to sit back and watch. I mean, I know you guys had that great experience with your sons,
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
able to coach them all the way through, but I really feel like this is an opportunity for me to take a break, but I still help out. I'll still do whatever I can. So
Have you ever coached boys?
I've never coached boys. I mean, I not in basketball.
Okay, because I coached girls basketball for one season. Did boys for 20+ years, but girls were interesting. I mean, it was a challenge.
Girls are definitely interesting. I mean, there's you have to figure out different ways to motivate them.
Yeah.
Whereas a boy, you could say, well, he likes your girlfriend, and he wants to go beat him up and
Yeah.
win the game. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's just girls are different. You have to push them in different ways. So
Do you have ambition maybe to get back into coaching
Oh, I think
after
so.
your daughter, or you?
I think so. After my daughter, I mean, I do have a young son. He's 7. He's
Okay.
coming up, but I mean, he isn't really like the big sports kid yet. But I mean, who knows
He is
as he
in
gets
time
older.
if you
Yeah,
choose
you
to,
don't know.
Yeah, plenty
Right.
of time.
Lots of things to do.
Yeah, plenty of time.
It's awesome. I see you have something under your arm there.
I do. I brought a gift for you guys.
All right.
We love gifts.
Now, I brought this. This reminds me of my happy place, which is Siesta Key, Florida.
There you go.
So everybody down there drinks the High Life from Cigar City.
Awesome.
So
Okay.
that is for you guys to enjoy.
That's
Thank you.
perfect.
Um,
That's perfect.
Yeah, it's a great beer. It's an India Pale Ale. You had
Yep.
a Pale Ale last time, so I
Yep.
figured I'd add it to the.
That will
to
go in the
mix.
fridge.
So that's a beach drink then, huh?
That's a beach drink. That's an anytime drink. Honestly.
Okay, cool. We'll pound that.
Yeah.
So how's it feel to be the second pick?
I mean, awesome. I mean, honestly, you had to figure out, your way with the
Yeah.
first pick. And
Yeah, we
everything
struggled
else.
maybe in the first show, so we had to find our feet and get the right second pick.
Right. I mean, I tend to be a little bit more of a social influencer. I mean,
Okay.
I can basically
We've seen
get
some
people to
comments
watch.
on Facebook.
We- we have.
Appreciate the comments.
Absolutely. But I'm sure your ratings will get boosted a little bit more than the first episode.
Oh, that's what we're looking for.
Next show, we're hoping to maybe have 50,000 views on YouTube instead of 25,000.
I was hoping 75,000.
75
but,
possible.
We could settle for 50.
When you put 3 good-looking guys on TV,
Really
it's
good
true.
looking
really
guys.
good.
That's true.
Let's get real here. Really good looking.
Right,
True.
right.
Can't
You would think
debate that.
you would think we'd have more views than at this point.
Just don't go shirtless.
No,
It's probably not going to be an episode.
no, we're not going there. That's for sure. All right, so let's go into a little bit of the conversation that your brother had as the athletic director of McDonald in our first episode. He talked a little smack about your basketball skills, and actually, Randy's in the
He
studio.
did say, he said you were probably the better defender,
Oh, without a doubt.
but he was way better offensively.
I'll give him a slight edge offensively. I don't think I needed to be utilized as much as a scorer when I played, or else I very well could have.
All right, we're bringing Randy in. We're going to get his opinion on
Yeah.
it. I'm just going to scoot over a little bit. Come on in, Randy.
All right.
Now the ratings are going up.
Now we got 4 good-looking
Yes.
guys.
3.5.
All right, go ahead, Randy.
Randy, one-on-one basketball. You versus your brother Donnie. Play to 10. Make it, take it. What's
Yeah,
the score?
if I get the ball first, he doesn't see the ball.
It's
It's
10-0.
just it's 10-0. And it's about 3 or 4 minutes later that it's over.
I mean, if you do have a court outside, I mean, we easily can settle
Could
that.
film this.
yeah.
This
Yeah,
could be
it's-
another segment.
I just think I'm just too quick. I'm too tall. I'm too long.
Now, Randy, what's
You
the
used
age
to be too
difference?
What's the difference?
You're 3 years younger?
Yes,
Yeah, I'm 41,
37.
37. He'll be
Okay.
30
I'll be
in
turning 38.
September. So
Okay.
Yeah, it's just honestly, my hesitations, I would make him get off balance and just blow by him for easy scores.
yeah, he doesn't understand the way that I defended people. It's not.
And you
I could
can't.
care less
If he
how
gives me any
quick you are.
space, I just shoot the ball and make it. It's
Donnie was boasting before the show. He was talking about his defensive prowess, and he was saying that for the entire season, you gave up how many
My
points?
senior year, I gave up a total of 9 points on the guy that I defended.
well, that was Coach Hillman and his just great defensive philosophies more than anything.
No, it was more than my,
Did Coach Hillman utilize you properly offensively?
I would have not to knock Coach Ilbin. He didn't know us. It was his first year coming my senior year. We had Coach Delben the years before that, but I would have rather run through a wall with a coach like you, versus a coach like him. And again, no knock on him. He just didn't know us.
Right.
And it was funny. We used to have the ICL previews, and the first time I got into the game in the ICL preview, I scored like 7 points in a row. And he took me out and he said, "Oh, well, you're not our scorer."
Oh.
I said, "Okay." So I accepted the role. The role, and that's an important thing. Like, you know, instead of sulking about it, I said, you know what? Let me just be something better,
Yeah.
or whatever I needed to be. So
Just you've watched us over the years.
Yeah.
Who would you have compared yourself to on our basketball teams?
you know, I love the grit of like a Scott Sentner.
Okay.
I love the grit of like even McGill.
I'll jump in, even a little Devin Bansberg, because you got
Okay,
after
tough.
him
Yeah.
with some attitude.
Oh, I-
Donnie, you
yeah.
did want to fight the whole
Yeah.
Lucas fan
Well,
section at
it's
the
so
regional game.
it's so funny that you mentioned that. I was driving through that shit town yesterday on my way to Fort Wayne, Indiana. I was
Yeah.
actually driving through Mansfield and Lucas, and I still heard them screaming about some of this
Ridiculousness.
This Zach Brazil kid, like,
Right.
yeah, you know, it's like, are you serious? Like the whole town. First of all, I was happy to be there because I felt like I was like your bodyguard that day.
Yeah.
Because like the whole. Like every town drunk from Lucas was all about.
I don't know how they
Yelling
got
at you.
there. I mean, they
Honestly-
were hammered.
Honestly, I would hope they would come by like Greyhound bus at least.
Yes.
You know, not drive
Yes.
from Lucas because it was bad.
It was
It
rough.
was bad. So definitely, but no, I definitely had a beat streak in me. I was not afraid
You
to
were ready.
foul.
You were ready to
Yeah.
kill people.
I was.
Yeah.
I was. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Let's not change the subject, though. 10-0.
Randy, could I change? Who
Yes.
would you compare yourself to? Like of the players we
Oh,
got?
just NBA wise, not even our players, like a Mark Price.
Mark Price.
Just control the game, can shoot the ball. I led my team in assists,
Okay.
just facilitated. I'm
Listen,
just winner.
No. I mean, he definitely was a good shooter, great shooter. But honestly,
That's
10-0.
interesting.
That's a little. Especially, I mean, let's get real here. I mean, I am his idol. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's true.
So to say
He
10-0.
had actually said that.
Yeah, but to say
Before.
10-0, I don't know. I mean,
no,
I
honestly,
got
what
to
would
say-
happen growing up is I would go watch him either play a basketball game or run a track meet, and I'd come home and for hours just try to
Emulate
copycat
your
it.
brother.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk about one more thing
Go
before?
ahead,
Just
let's go.
because I'm thinking about Lucas. That was on a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Shortly thereafter, you're like dead.
Yeah. That was.
I mean, national news.
Yeah. I mean, that was very weird, very surreal. I didn't know that I was gonna actually come down with COVID.
Yeah.
You know, luckily the Board of Health had pinpointed it to be after I was at the regional game, so
Okay.
I was thankful for that, and I actually was at the.
So you didn't get it from the Lucas fans.
I hope not, man. I'm not, if not, that whole town needs a quarantine. But no, I
Probably should have done that before
yeah,
COVID.
Yeah, probably. But no, I ended up getting it after, and you know, I'm not gonna lie, it was a pretty rough bout for me.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
You know, 5 days in the hospital, but luckily after the second day in the hospital, when they were gonna put me on a ventilator, they switched my medication around, so I was able to recover quick, and then I recovered from home. I feel fantastic now.
You had to be one of the first people documented, right?
Yeah, so I basically was the third person in Mahoning County
Okay.
to you know, come down with this, and everybody was scared. Everybody didn't realize what was going on, what
Right.
the next steps were. So yeah, I mean, it was pretty scary. I
So
mean,
anybody that says that COVID's a hoax.
It's 100% not a hoax. I promise you. I absolutely promise you that. But you know the.
Want to tell him the truth real quick?
Go ahead.
I challenged him to a game of 1-on-1 back then. And all of a sudden, he got
And
sick.
he got
All of a
sick.
sudden, I got COVID.
He
Yeah.
needed a ventilator.
That's correct.
Right. So that's what happened.
He's in the
That's how it
ICU.
started.
I
all
can't
of a
play
sudden.
now,
Yeah.
Andy.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean,
It's pretty elaborate.
Yeah.
yeah, it was a good plan. Thanks for ruining it, spoiling it. Right? No, but it was something, man. I just you know, the folks that are getting it now that really don't have the symptoms, I applaud them. I mean, I'm glad they're getting through it in a much easier manner.
It's you know, we talk all the time in this house because I'm a teacher, my wife's a guidance counselor.
Absolutely.
What's going to happen come October or August? I'm sorry. I mean,
yeah.
our kids going back to school, and it's a little scary.
It is. It's scary, but I feel like as long as people understand and go along through the guidelines that are given to them, I think it's going to be okay.
We can manage.
Everybody can manage. I really feel like everybody's chomping at the bit. I mean, I want to see football. Like one of my best friends, his son is about to be the starting quarterback for Boardman this year, and I want to see him get that start. You know what I
That
mean?
opportunity.
Absolutely.
That's brutal.
And I get it. You know, my daughter's only a freshman, so she doesn't have her. This isn't the end for her. So
Yeah, but it's still one of 4 opportunities.
it's one of
there
4
at high school.
opportunities that she's not going to have. And I love our senior girls, and they're so good. Their talent is through the roof, and they deserve a shot at it. So
Okay.
yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, great job, guys.
Got anything to add, Randy? You're going to
Brian,
be
who
here
are
every
you
show,
taking?
I
No,
think.
apparently,
So.
yeah.
Who are you taking?
You know what? I would have taken Randy before Donnie sat down, but Donnie has a lot of confidence. He
Yes.
turned me a little bit.
I'm wondering though if they even make it to 10 without a fist fight in the middle of the.
There would never be a fist fight.
There won't be a fist fight. I might fall over just because I'm out of shape. So I have to make
but
my
I'm
shots
not.
early.
But I'm not.
Yeah, I have to make my shots early.
I think I'm going with Donnie. You got to go with your draft pick.
Oh, he is on the team.
Yeah.
The FCP team.
right.
That's got to be worth 4 or 5 points.
And I'll definitely
for sure.
boost those ratings.
We can
Alright,
spot him
listen.
4 or 5 points. I'm okay with
You-
it.
And let
you
us
don't
add
have-
before we leave, Lucas had a fine basketball team.
Yeah, Lucas is good. They just had
The
really
team
bad
was
fans.
fine.
It was a
Yeah,
very good
right.
basketball
Yeah.
team, and
Yeah.
you know if the refs call a foul at the end of the game, we probably win
All day.
But
The highest robbery ever.
And we could actually ask Jamie Palumbo that because Jamie's an official.
Jamie's
We
an
might
official,
win.
great
Yes.
official.
I don't know if he'll answer it, but we're going to ask him that later.
Well, we're gonna put him on the spot.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, well,
Thank you,
thanks guys
guys.
for coming. Appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Thank you very much. Awesome.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
hey,
Thank you.
we're expecting
All
some
right,
tweets and some comments on Facebook.
Well, I'm not on Twitter, but I might as well go ahead and start a Twitter handle. Is that what it's called? A handle?
I don't know.
Maybe.
Okay. Like Facebook, I got this on lockdown, so we'll
Yeah.
be alright.
Thousands of views. It's
Thousands.
coming.
Good.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right, guys.
What's
Thanks.
coming up next on FCP?
Next, we're gonna have Nerd Alerts.
All right. Nerd Alert is next.
Welcome back. This segment is Nerd Alert. Nerd Alert, we talk about different things that I buy and collect as well as others. Last episode we talked about sports cards, and tonight we're going to talk about metal lunch boxes.
And you started collecting metal lunch boxes, what, about 2 or 3 months ago? Maybe more?
No, longer than that.
Has
Probably
been
about 12 months.
Oh,
A
okay.
year ago, year and a half ago, I started buying metal lunch boxes because I was kind of bored one day with sports cards. So I started buying metal lunch boxes, and now I have a collection of about 40.
Which is insane because when you started buying them and you were showing us pictures of, like, you're texting us pictures of all your lunch boxes, I was like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, it was stupid.
Yeah.
The thing is about the metal lunch boxes, they're just like sports cards. I mean, it's crazy. The market's crazy. There's people who are diehard collectors, and they can get very high in value. And tonight,
You have
we've
an
got
expert tonight.
We told you last episode that we were going to have an expert on metal lunch boxes, and we do. We have William Bundy.
All right, William, welcome to the show.
William, let's ask you a couple questions here. How old are you?
8.
You're 8 years old. Now, where do you live?
Parkside Place.
Well, what city do you live in? You live in McDonald.
Mhm.
What school do you go to?
Roosevelt Elementary.
In McDonald. And what grade are you going into?
2nd.
2nd grade. How do you like school?
It's good, except this year got cut off, and I'm just kind of happy.
Yeah. Well, you were happy it was cut off?
Kind of.
Okay.
Now I kind of want to go back to school,
Ready to go
which
back.
I'll regret, but
Okay, so you've been collecting lunch boxes for a while, right?
yeah, I think I collected it in February, something like that. I forget.
You've been collecting for a year or two. Because you,
Probably.
We were both
you
off
had
on the
lunch
time
boxes
frame.
before
Me
I
and
had lunch
William.
boxes.
Yeah.
So how many lunch boxes do you have?
I have like, I'll say a couple of shelves, three shelves.
Like 30, 25 or 30?
25 or 30 are in the
Yeah.
like 16s or so. I kind of forget.
Okay, now how do you get your lunch boxes?
Well, 3 of them were in my father's basement,
Okay.
Oh wow.
and then I got the rest from thrift stores and one from you, one from me.
For
And-
Christmas.
Yeah, for Christmas. That one was a good one.
That was one of your favorites?
Mm.
Is it your favorite?
Yeah,
Yeah, of course.
Good answer.
they have a lot of Evil Knievel toys.
You got an Evil Knievel shirt on right now.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about your lunch boxes. Okay, you brought 3 lunch boxes today. Your favorites. Okay, which one's first? Which one do you want to name first?
I'll say the Muppet.
Okay, so we have the Muppets. Pigs in Space.
Love that one.
Love that one. You just got this one, didn't you?
Yeah, I got that on my birthday,
When was your birthday?
May 5th.
May 5th.
William, have you ever actually seen Pigs in Space on television?
I saw it on my dad's phone,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just very funny.
It is funny.
You like to watch older shows, don't you?
Yeah, I like to watch the Three Stooges.
Okay.
Not really the Happy Days, but kinda.
Okay.
Also the Happy Days lunchbox. But I didn't bring that.
You didn't bring it. So let's talk about the second lunch box you brought. Is this one of your favorites? Star Wars.
Yeah, that's my father.
So that's your dad's.
Mhm.
So we have Star Wars. Now, have you seen the movies?
No, not
Yep.
like 2 or 3.
Okay. And then the last lunchbox you bought, which
Yeah,
I bought for
Yeah,
you.
you got
I got you for Christmas. Which one is this?
Evil Knievel.
Evil Knievel.
That's
And this
awesome.
one's a tough one to find.
Yeah.
This is tough. I got this on eBay. This was a tough one. You
That
got
one's
Evil
without
Knievel
him
shirt.
in all the casts.
What's that? Yeah,
That's without the
Without
full
the
body,
broken bone.
the full body cast.
He almost broke his bones. Like,
He's broken a lot of bones.
like almost all of them.
Now, what do you do with your lunch boxes?
Well, I bring them to school and I use them.
You
and-
pack your lunch in the lunch boxes.
Yeah, I pack my lunch in the lunch boxes. I don't know if they get stained. I think one did.
Okay. Now, when you take these to school, what do your teachers say to you?
Like, they're like, oh, cool lunchbox. And it's like, where'd you get it? I'm like, I don't know. I forget a lot. I forget a lot.
But your teachers, when they were growing up, they might have had some of these lunch boxes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what drew me in, Brian.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about that. Something that drew me in was that, you know, we had metal lunch boxes when we were in like elementary school.
Right. Then
That's-
it switched though. Then we went to plastic.
Plastic, yeah, and then you just
There's no
apply-
value in plastic, right?
Very little value in plastic.
Is there-
Not the same as metal.
Is there any plastic lunch boxes that are still highly collectible?
There are a few, but
Yeah.
but really the people out there, they want the metal lunch boxes.
Yeah.
And you know, and I'll tell you a quick story. You know, my brother had a picture when he was in elementary school of a Hong Kong food.
Oh, Hong Kong food.
And
was
I
the
actually
best.
have one, and I'll show you one in a minute here. But you know, he said to me, "Can you get me a Hong Kong food lunchbox just so he could have it because he had the
Yeah.
picture of when he was young,
Yeah.
and we're able to find him one." So I think people can relate.
Yeah.
Last question. 2 questions. 2 more questions. Ready?
Okay.
What's the next lunchbox you want to get?
Well, I kind of want to get a Scooby-Doo.
Scooby Doo.
But if there's a Rockford Files, then I kind of want to get that
I
one.
know you
Rockford
would
Files.
ask me. Yeah. You watch Rockford Files?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever even watched Rockford Files.
And the last question, maybe the most important question of the day. Ready for this? Who is your favorite uncle?
Yeah.
No, that's the right
Oh,
answer.
That's awesome.
That's the right answer.
That's the right answer. Thank you, William.
Well, you're gonna sit in for the rest of Nerd Alert while
Yeah,
your
I'm going to
uncle
talk
talks.
about my
All
lunch boxes. So
talks
you're going
about
to sit here
his-
for a few more minutes.
right.
Okay?
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
We appreciate
You did a
it.
great job.
You did a great job.
Thanks. I also have one plastic lunchbox.
You have a plastic lunchbox? What
Yeah.
is that?
I have a Ninja Turtles one.
Take that
Okay.
one to school this year.
Yeah. That one I got, and I think I used it once.
Okay.
All right, Jeff. What's some of your favorites?
Well, I've got about 35 or 40 total, and what I bought was I bought things that I watched growing up, you know, that I could relate to. So I'll show you a couple of my favorites.
Is there an era that's like through the roof value?
There's no. I mean, obviously, the older you get, typically the more value, but that's not the tell-all of
Okay.
lunch boxes. It's more about who it is, what's the show or whatever.
And like how it stands up, quality.
And then the second part is condition.
Right.
I mean, just like a baseball card, you can have a Mickey Mantle card, but if it's folded in half, the value's less. So just a couple that I have here. I have a Jetsons Dome lunchbox.
That's sweet.
These are a little bit more rare.
Flip that. Let me see the back.
Yep.
Those
And
are
with
cool.
lunchboxes, there's stuff on the sides
Right.
and there's stuff on the bottom. So these are a little bit more rare, especially at Jetsons. And I have two of them. One's in pretty good condition, but this one overall is in really, really nice condition. And if you go on eBay, and it has a thermos.
How important is it to have the thermos?
Well, some thermoses are worth more than lunchboxes. Some not as much.
Yeah.
Some thermoses just aren't that important. But in this case, it's very important. But in this condition and in this thermos, you're talking about a $500 lunchbox.
No kidding.
Yeah. The second lunchbox I brought, one of my
ridiculous.
favorites, very difficult to find, a Hogan's Hero.
Oh, cool.
And, if you see this one, you can see the back. And this is also what's called a dome lunchbox. Sides and, on the bottom. And this Hogan's Hero is in pretty good shape. Heroes is in pretty good shape. And there's the thermos.
That's awesome.
Now, when I got this Hogan's Heroes, do you remember? Do you remember what you asked me?
I forget.
William,
I
what?
watch them.
Yeah, I know you watch Hogan's Heroes, but William, when I got this, he said, "Can I use that one for lunch?" And I said, "No, I don't think you can, because that Hogan's Heroes is probably another $500 lunchbox."
So how much? I mean, I'm not going to ask you how much you paid for it, but when someone
Oh.
when someone on eBay is saying 500, they're going to go for 500.
In this condition, I mean, you're talking
Yeah.
$400 to $500 for those easily.
Because you talked about last Nerd Alert, you talked about Beckett is a certain price, and you're getting
Right.
10% book or 5% book.
I don't know. There is a
guide.
a guide to
Yeah.
lunchboxes, and you're not getting the value, but they sell for pretty good money, especially in quality, good condition. And the thing that would shock you is like Disney. You would think Disney would be high up there from the 1950s and 1960s. It's really not. I don't know if it was mass produced
Right.
or what. And again, it's all about supply and demand.
Sure.
The last one I brought was one of my favorites, one of my favorite shows, Hong Kong Phooey.
Yep, that's the best.
And this is a pretty cool one. Now, Brian, you had asked about, thermoses. Now, in this situation, the thermos, it's inside, but it isn't worth much.
Okay.
So the box itself is that's probably like a $200 box in that condition. But Hong Kong Phooey is very difficult to find. It's from the 1970s, and it's very difficult to find.
What are some of the ones that you want next? What are some of the big ones that you don't
Well,
want?
I've wanted like Gomer Pyle, Beverly Hillbillies, Star Trek. Star Trek is a dome lunchbox. And I'm so picky on the lunchboxes because I do not buy them to resell. I buy them strictly
Just
to
to
collect.
collect.
So when I buy, I want at the best quality I can get. If you look around, I have a couple showcases full in my house of lunchboxes. I have the Flintstones, 4 or 5 Flintstones. I have Scooby-Doo, shows that we watched growing up.
Yeah.
That's what I tried to buy. Popeye.
Yeah.
I have some nice Popeyes. So the next ones, I got a list of about 5 or 6, 7 more that I want to buy. Then I'm probably done with metal lunchboxes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Cool.
Hey, the next episode, we're going to talk about wrestling figures.
Oh my gosh.
And we've got Dominic Riccatelli coming in here to talk about wrestling figures.
So Randy's going to be literally on every show.
Randy might as well just
might as well stay.
get a seat and pull right up next to us. But his son Dominic, who is an avid wrestling
Yeah.
fan, is going to be on the next show.
All right. That's it
All
for
right.
Nerd
Thank
Alert.
you, William.
Thank you, William.
Thank you.
All right, we are back, and we're in the coach's office. This is a segment where we had people send in some questions to our Facebook account, our Twitter account, and we actually have 3 questions for you tonight. This is what we described in our first episode as no holds barred.
Right.
You,
You're going to
whatever
answer
you-
them honestly.
Yeah, you're going to answer these questions honestly. So you ready?
Yeah, ready. Let's
Okay.
go.
Question number 1 is from Brent, and he's from Hubbard.
Wait, is this the third time Brent's asked us a question?
It might be a different Brent.
Okay.
But Brent from Hubbard wants to know, how important is AAUs to the success of a basketball player?
That's a great question.
That's a
I mean,
good question.
again, we talk about this all the time. We have regular conversations about topics such as this. You have a son, younger son, who's now going through travel hockey.
Yeah.
Just in general, how important is travel sports for? I think it all depends on your goals. First of all, if you think you're going to play AAUs and it's going to get you a college scholarship, you're delusional. So you got to start thinking about, why do I want to play AAUs? Less than 2% of high school athletes get college scholarships, so it's difficult. There's different categories of AAUs too. I mean, there's really travel ball, where you may be traveling around the whole United States, or at least part of the United States, and then there's travel ball, where you're going to Lisbon.
How much is it in a showcase, though? Like, you had to play AAUs for people to see Zach, though.
Right.
Zach's goal was to play college basketball.
Right, correct. And we felt he had the talent to do that.
Right.
Now, 1 year, 2 years, we played travel basketball. For 2 years during his high school career, we played travel basketball, where we traveled around the United States, or, at least hours and hours and hours away. Mm-hmm. Last year, we kind of limited. We went more Cleveland, Pittsburgh.
Did you see, is that as a negative?
Well, so here's the thing. So if you're not traveling, like travel ball, to major tournaments, there aren't going to be college coaches there.
Yeah.
People who think they're going to play for, local AAU teams, and they're going to get recognized by college basketball coaches, it's not happening. There's no college basketball coaches coming to Lisbon or Western Reserve, and I don't mean any offense to them.
Right.
It's just those are smaller tournaments. So
what do you think that's a developmental thing for them, that they're still playing, or is it just?
Well, and that's what I would come back and say. AAUs, there's obviously a cost factor.
Sure.
The more local you are, the less it costs, because you're not staying in hotel rooms and all of that business. And then there's a time factor. Clearly a time factor. So I think what parents have to do is they have to be honest. Less than 2% of high school athletes get college scholarships.
Yeah.
Think about this. There's 20 schools in Trumbull County, give or take. So if every school has a boys basketball team and every 5 starters, it's 100 players. 2 out of 100 kids, typically in Trumbull County, are going to get college scholarships. And if you look at this year, that's probably, it breaks down. Zach and Munch from Warren Harding. Outside of those 2, I'm not sure anybody else.
And I think, like you talked about with my son in hockey, I think that AAU model, or that travel model, it's like across all sports.
Oh, well, Bethany, my oldest in soccer,
Yeah.
I mean, we traveled for that. It paid off, though. I mean, she had a scholarship to Pitt. She ended up transferring back to Youngstown State, but she's basically on a full scholarship at Youngstown State. So it paid off. For most kids, financially, it doesn't pay off. I mean, it just doesn't pay off. I mean, very few kids get scholarships. In college, what people don't understand is, in using basketball as an example, there's Division I, Division II, Division III. So Division I is something called head count sport, where you're either on a full scholarship or you're a walk-on. In basketball, some other sports, they can give partial scholarships, but in basketball, it's full or nothing. In Division II, they can break up the scholarships, so they can give percentages. In Division III, there are no athletic scholarships.
Right.
So, I had a kid one time in my class tell me he's getting a athletic scholarship to go to Mount Union. I'm like, no, you're not. He's like, yes, I am. When a kid tells you they're going D3 and they're getting a basketball scholarship, they're not. They don't exist. They may be getting some academic help or whatever. And don't get me wrong. I mean, if they want you at a D3 school, they may find you some money academically.
Right.
But
find you a job, something.
Yeah, right. There's perks.
Yeah.
There's definitely perks. Maybe you schedule earlier, all kinds of living. The dorms are a little better or whatever. But AAU basketball, you got to decide what's the purpose. Is the purpose to get college scholarships? Is the purpose to get better? I personally think for that average player, high school player, they're better off taking the money and going and getting a trainer. And doing one-on-one training. Yeah. That's going to get them more over the long haul, because even a lot of AAU basketball games, the games themselves, I mean, they're
junk.
Relatively unorganized.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not high school basketball. And when you talk to college coaches, most college coaches don't even like the AAU setup, other than they can watch 10 kids over a course of a day. Whereas if they come to McDonald's gym, they're seeing 1 kid.
Right.
In reality, Zach got more attention by us, the coaches, sending out videos, contacting colleges, than he did by playing AAUs.
My son's a tweener, I think. He's right on the verge of possibly going to... In hockey, at his age group, he's a 12U kid. AAA is the best you can play. And in Cleveland, there's only a couple AAA teams. There's the Barons, and then there's the Lumberjacks. And the Lumberjacks struggle even with some of the AA teams. So even though it's a AAA team, it's still level of competition that you're playing. But then that's
across the board in travel sports.
Right.
You don't know what you're running into.
And then in Pittsburgh, there's more. You know, you have Penn's Elite, and you have some really good AAA teams over there that are nationally ranked. And then you go to AA, and all the kids that are talented are trying to get in that AA pool. But what we have found, and I think he's a tweener there. I think he's really close
On
to
that
playing.
border. Yep.
He's playing that level. So our concern is how much do we want to push him? How much does he want to push himself? How much travel?
Yeah,
how much
how
do we
much
want to
money?
spend?
You
And
know.
the other thing that I'm also finding, I don't know if this happens in AAU as much, is we're going to places and they say, hey, try out for our team. There's 15 skaters on that team. 12 are picked before the tryouts even start.
Oh, I think
there's
AAUs,
kids coming back,
right.
and you
Listen,
know, yeah.
anybody that says they're having tryouts for AAUs, there's no tryouts.
Yeah.
They know who they're picking. Well, the better programs.
Yeah.
And if you're not being wanted, if
Right.
you're not being picked,
Right.
then you're probably not an AAU.
Right.
You know, when I was growing up,
Right.
there wasn't this AAU setup. Now there is. And everybody says, I'm playing AAU travel ball.
Yeah.
What does that mean? If you're playing at Lisbon, you know,
Yeah.
which it's a tournament. I mean, that's why I keep saying Lisbon or Western Reserve, because there's tournaments there. That's not true AAU basketball. But again, some people do it because they enjoy the game. They
Right.
want to play games. You know, some parents love it. That's their social life.
Right.
We played on a team, Zach played on a team a couple of years ago. It was really their social life.
Yeah.
The parents love to go out that,
Right.
sit in the hotel lobby that
Right.
night after the games and talk and,
You see a lot of
have
that
a
in
couple of
hockey
drinks.
too.
and
Yeah.
I never enjoyed that.
Yeah.
If we were in Atlantic City and we lost at 9:00 and, we went back to the hotel room, Zach showered, we got on the road, we drove home.
Yeah.
It's just, that was my
Well, you've always
mentality.
been antisocial, though.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. So that answers that question.
Yeah, good question.
Yeah. All right. So now this question is like actually from two people because
Okay.
they're very similar. And they're actually two people we know, and it's Tom Smiley from Cleveland.
Good friend of ours.
We went to school with Tom. And then Tom Craig, he actually went to
Tom
Hubbard
Craig.
also.
Tom Craig graduated a year ahead of us.
Yep, and he lives in Florida now.
Okay.
So Tom Smiley asked this. He said, who is your favorite coach to play for and why? And then Tom Craig asked, who is the most influential coach or teammate from a sport you have ever played?
Well, let me start by saying, first of all, Tom Smiley and Tom Craig were very good athletes in high school.
Very
Both
good.
played basketball and
I remember
baseball.
Tom Craig, he could shoot the lights
Shoot
out.
the lights out.
Yeah.
I mean, and let me say this. Both Toms asked the question of coaching.
Right.
When we were at Hubbard, Tom Craig was a year older than us. Tom Smiley and us graduated together. When we were at Hubbard, what's crazy about that situation is, from 7th through 12th grade, I had 5 different head coaches.
Yeah.
In 6 years.
Right.
So when I was in 7th grade, there was a different head coach. Tom Craig, from 7th through 12th grade, had 6 different head coaches.
Right.
So there was no
How do you
continuation.
form that bond?
Right.
Right.
So that's, I think a lot of kids we've coached, obviously, their whole career, 7th through 12th grade, all they knew was us. Using the Rotas, for example,
Right.
that are like, I'm close to. They're like my
Shit, they
children.
knew us when they were in 3rd grade.
They absolutely know
Yeah.
us. We were their head coaches. So
Yeah.
from a high school basketball coaching situation, I'm going to say the most influential coach was Anthony DeCello. And Anthony DeCello
That
right
was
now,
at Hubbard.
I still reach out to him every once in a while. He lives in Texas. And the reason I'm going to throw
Played
him
at
up,
Rice?
he played at Rice.
Yeah, yeah.
Unbelievable player.
Yeah.
I mean, unbelievable player. He was young when he came to Hubbard. Just from a pure basketball standpoint, I think that he pushed us. He was 24/7 basketball. Yeah, tough as nails. I mean, but
Demanded.
demanding, but we respected him. Intense. I hate to say he made me look like a saint, but I don't know how many people do, but he was probably more intense than me.
Yeah, maybe.
In different time.
Yeah.
35 years ago almost.
You know who you always quote that I thought you might say was when you were at Champion was Renee Ackerman.
Well, from a coaching standpoint,
Yeah.
who did I coach with? Renee Ackerman had a great influence on my career because she's the one who told me feed the hogs.
Give it to your
Yeah. So
Yeah.
she was the head coach. Chan Jackson, who taught at Champion for 35 years, was the assistant coach, and they would just tell me feed the hogs, feed the hogs. I mean, their whole style of play was based on getting the ball to their stars.
And that's what you did.
Well, for 20 years, Brian, that's
Yeah.
what we did.
Yeah.
And would we do it differently?
No.
No chance.
No way.
I mean, it paid off.
For sure.
I guess I didn't have a strong bond with any of my head coaches. They were all good people. It wasn't anything negative, but I'd probably say Anthony DeCello from a another
to
player?
play with. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I couldn't answer that. I mean, even from a coach player, us coaching, is there someone who you think influenced or
I think there's kids that you really respected because you knew when the
No doubt.
game was over,
Okay.
they gave you 100. Like the Rodas, we always talk
Rodas.
about the Rodas.
Tremendous respect.
Yeah.
And the thing about the Rodas is,
Devin
you
Bansberg.
knew, Devin, I mean, you knew that they were going to give you everything they had.
If you lost, it wasn't because of effort.
Right. There was no question going
Right.
into the game. So yeah, did I respect them? No doubt. I
Right.
mean, if everybody played as hard as the Rodas, I don't know if we'd ever lose a game.
And
or
they
everybody
didn't.
played right. Where everybody played as hard as Devin Bansberg, I don't know if we would ever
Right.
ever lose a game. But you know, let me say this. You know, who just in general, Brian, like who's had the greatest influence on my life? I mean, my parents.
For sure.
You know, my parents taught me about hard work from a
Yeah.
young age. You know, something I give all the credit to my parents for is, you know, I'm an outspoken person.
Yeah.
You know, my brother Jim, he's outspoken.
For sure.
You know my dad.
For sure.
I mean, so I think that was a blessing that they taught us from a young age. You know, it's okay.
Yeah.
Speak your mind, speak your piece, and you don't be afraid to give your opinion. And,
Yeah.
You know, we've never been. Maybe it's our parents' mentality. You know, that milk mentality a little bit. You know,
Yeah, for those that don't know, our parents worked together at Valley
Yeah.
Mold. They worked in steel mill
For
forever.
30 years,
Yeah,
yeah.
Went to work every day.
yeah, never complained.
Right.
You know, that was their life, and they were okay with it.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's formed our whole belief system
For
in
sure.
many ways.
for sure. So thanks, Tom and Tom.
Tom
for
and
that.
Tom.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We have to send some shirts to Tom and Tom.
We have to
Hey, just
order
real
one.
quick, Tom Craig reached out to me about a month ago. I mean, it's amazing. He's lived in Florida a long, long time, and he reached out and he just sent me a message saying, you know, what a great career Zach had. And
That's
said,
awesome.
he said, I've been following his career in Florida
Yeah.
for 4 years. I mean, I can't wait to read the news to see what he did that night. I've watched
That's
some
the
videos.
internet, though. It's changed the game for that. Like
Amazing,
though.
though.
You would hear stuff from people maybe through, but now everything's. You can watch whatever you want online now.
Yeah, and it's amazing
But that
you
he
know,
would
just
do that,
connection.
take the time,
Yeah,
yeah.
just that connection
Yeah.
because I don't think he's comes to Hubbard very often or comes to this area, and just that connection, which is very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, last question.
Sure.
This is from Paulo from Louisville.
Paulo from Lowellville.
From Louisville. I don't know who he is.
Paulo de Pasquale, maybe.
So I think this goes a little bit in the line of our love advice last time. So this has
Okay.
nothing to do with basketball. So
We've probably given Paulo enough advice about basketball.
right. So
in
this,
life.
and I think we've had this conversation with Paulo after a game.
Okay.
At Amen Corner. Another shout out to Amen Corner. What is your top 3 things to watch on Netflix right now?
Ooh, on Netflix. We're
We talk
TV
all-
guys.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, yeah, that's a great question, Paulo. Okay, so let me think about this real quick. 3. So let's start with 3. The countdown. 3. I'm gonna say Mind Hunters.
Never saw it.
It's about FBI profiling of serial killers.
Okay.
Great show.
That's a series?
It is.
Okay.
It is. This was the 2nd season this past year. Little raunchy, especially the first season, but good show. And it's based on true events. I don't think it's a true story, but it's based on true events.
Yeah. Like historical fiction.
Historical
Yeah,
fiction,
yeah.
right? Number 2, let's go with Ozark. You watch Ozark.
I know I'm going to get in trouble for this because I
Okay.
think Ozark's a little overrated.
Oh, see, I like Ozark.
I like it too, and
Yeah.
I watch it, but everybody loves Ozark. And
Yeah.
I got a little bored the last season. Like midway through it, I was kind of just waiting to see what happened by the end of the
Well,
season.
I think they're getting to the point. Is this the 4th season this year? I think they're getting to the point where maybe they're losing some storylines.
I
So now
feel
it's
like
getting a little
Ozark
crazier.
is like I saw it with Breaking Bad already.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's very similar to me. Like I lost my interest in Breaking Bad too, and I know a lot of people love that show too.
Never watched it.
You never watched Breaking
Never
Bad?
watched Breaking Bad.
And it's kind of similar theme, like normal guy put in a different world and stuff like that. But Ozark, I mean, I love it. I watch it. I watch the next season, but I think it's overrated.
Okay.
All right.
Overrated. Well, you like Stranger Things,
Love Stranger Things.
and I did not like Stranger
Yeah,
Things. I thought it was
that's true.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm not that E.T.
And I like
Star
Mad
Wars.
Men, and you never watched Mad Men.
Never watched Mad Men.
Men's great.
No. Number 1. Number 1's my all-time favorite Netflix show.
Floor is Lava. Have you
No,
watched that yet?
No, I have not. I was gonna watch it, but no.
Don't binge watch it because every show's the same, but it's awesome.
Is it
It's
really?
like
Isn't it like a game show?
It's a
type
game show.
situation?
You know what was that show that the kids would do? That they'd run through mazes and stuff like that. I don't know what that was called.
where they would get shit thrown at them all the time.
Yeah, this is like an adult version of that, and they have to cross over like
Okay.
fake lava. But the best part, and every show
It
is
would
the
be
same.
better if it was real lava.
No, but every show's the same because it's kind of like it's 3 teams that got to get across the
Okay.
floor. But so you can't watch all 10 in a row because it just gets boring. But if you watch 1 or 2 every once in a while, they face plant at least 4 or 5 times every show.
Hey, let me throw this at you, which Jackie and I watched the other night. Athlete A.
I saw that, but I didn't watch it.
Oh,
I saw it like
it's
listed.
intense. It's
Is
a
it?
documentary about
The gymnastics,
Yep, the gymnast.
Yeah.
With that Dr. Nasser, and I mean, it's. I mean,
That'll
great
cheer.
show.
That'll cheer you up. Anything.
Oh yeah, cheer you up. One fight. I can't believe that we allow this stuff to happen in our
I
country.
know it's
but,
crazy.
But my number one.
Yeah.
Number one favorite show, Peaky Blinders.
Peaky Blinders is the
Peaky
best.
Blinders, I mean,
it's the
it's the
best.
greatest.
But you don't hear about Peaky Blinders.
Nobody
like you
knows
do.
about it. Like
I love Peaky Blinders.
I'll talk about it in class and say,
Yeah.
"Hey, Peaky Blinders," and the kids. I mean, and they're all Netflix experts.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, "What's Peaky Blinders?"
Yeah.
I would suggest though, if you're going to watch Peaky Blinders, subtitles,
Yeah, it's hard to understand. them
especially at the
sometimes.
beginning. I mean, as you start moving through the seasons,
Yeah.
you might start understanding them better. But
Tommy Shelby.
Tommy Shelby,
He's the best.
And that's one of those shows that's based on history. It's not based on
Right.
something particular. There was a
right
group
after
called the
World War-
Peaky
it's
Blinders.
right after World War I, yeah.
Yep. And they wore their hats and had their blade.
Right.
The blades.
There
in
was
their
actually
hats.
a gang that did that.
Correct.
That's where they got
Peaky
credit.
Blinders, and they were called the Peaky Blinders, but
That's
it
awesome.
wasn't Tommy Shelby.
No.
You know, but great show. And actually, we have watched Peaky Blinders. I think are they season 5? Or season 6. We've watched all the seasons through twice.
Yeah.
Because I like it so much.
Peaky Blinders is great. Peaky Blinders to me is almost like a, and I like history.
Yeah.
So like I like the World
Right.
War stuff. I like Civil War stuff. So you have a piece of that, but it's almost like Sopranos.
I've never watched Sopranos.
19, that's ridiculous. that
I've
you've
never
seen
watched
The
it, and
Sopranos.
I don't want to. I started to watch it. I just can't do like 25 seasons of it.
So as bad as the main character is, or his brother is,
Yeah.
or whatever, you still cheer for him. You still find something in him that you want to be a part of what they're doing, or you like Tony Soprano was the same way. He did some crazy shit, like and stuff that like as a normal person you would hate them for it, but you always cheered for him. You always wanted him to win. And then Tommy Shelby's the same way.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, he's
It's
awesome.
it's just an awesome show. I mean, I look forward to it every season.
All right, that's it then. 3 Netflix shows.
Yeah.
And what's next then on Netflix then for you? Do you have
I don't know. You know, we have every streaming system possible now because of COVID.
Yeah.
You know, we were off, so we were binge watching all kinds of shows.
Yeah.
You know, a nice show on Netflix. I didn't mention it's something.
Floor
I
is
really
Lava.
Like.
Is
No,
real- no,
it's not what I was saying.
gotta
Afterlife.
watch it.
Have you watched Afterlife?
I don't think.
Awesome show. It's by the writers of The Office. In the guy.
Oh, Ricky Gervais.
Yeah.
Oh, I watched it. It's great.
A great show.
Great. Sad.
It's sad but funny,
Yeah.
like hysterical at the
Yeah.
same time.
Yeah.
And the language is so
It's great.
bad.
That is a good show, and I didn't remember it by the title, but that is a great
They're
show.
2 seasons in.
Yeah.
And the other thing I like about it is they're only half-an-hour episodes.
Right.
So it's not like you're stuck there for an hour watching the show. but
Afterlife is great.
Afterlife, strongly recommend Afterlife.
I'm bumping Ozark out, and I'm putting Afterlife.
Well,
in the
you know what? I think Afterlife is just a great show, and I didn't think I would like it because,
Yeah.
I'm not a big Office person.
It is depressing though.
Depressing.
Yeah.
Depressing.
Yes. Yeah.
But hysterically funny.
Yeah.
I mean, you think if you're miserable in life,
Yeah.
you just want to walk around like him.
So we know we have to watch Peaky Blinders.
Peaky Blinders,
We have to watch Ozark.
Ozark,
We have to watch Afterlife. We'll throw that in.
yeah,
Well,
Mindhunters,
Okay, and then Floor is
Floor
Lava.
is Lava. Those are the 5 that we're recommending at this time.
All
Hey,
right.
thanks everybody for your questions. Keep sending them in. You can send them in on Twitter at FCPYSN or on Facebook, which is just Jeff Brazil. We love the questions.
Yeah,
keep
for
them
sure.
coming.
Keep them coming. All right, next segment, we're getting in the car.
Yeah, we're going in the car, so we're going out to 721
Sports Club.
out in Hubbard. You
Yep.
know, tip-off interview is going to be Jamie Palumbo.
We're going to go to the ATM first.
We're going to need the ATM because we're probably going to lose a lot of money. But you know, we're looking forward to talking to Jamie about poker, and also Jamie's a local official, does
He's
a
an
great
official.
job. So
He has a history of baseball.
history of
His
baseball.
brother Joe will be
And
there,
then
and he'll be talking baseball
Joe will
too.
be the final interview, you know, and the last shot.
Yep.
And then Joe's going to go through the shot clock, right?
That he is.
Yeah. And we got a new little segment for Jamie.
All right.
All right.
All right, we'll see you in a bit.
We'll see you in a few minutes. Welcome back. We're at 721 Sports Club in Hubbard, Ohio. We're with the owner, Jamie Palumbo. Jamie opened this earlier in the year,
Yes, February 22nd was our opening day, and then 2.5 weeks later, COVID. So it was an adjustment, but reopening through like the bar club May 26th, we've been really busy.
So Jamie, just before we get into the sports club, tell us a little bit about yourself.
A little bit about myself. Well, I live in Hubbard still. I'm actually in pharmaceuticals. I work for a company called Takeda, and I'm running the business, and I'm still selling real estate part-time. If you're a buyer, and I know I'll help you out. If you're a seller, I'll help you out. So I've been really, really busy, post-COVID, obviously, since everything has been opening up. Physically, myself with our company, we're not back in the field yet, so a lot of stuff is virtual. So
Okay. All right, so the sports club. I mean, what made you think of this?
I was basically a dealer for many years at a home game, and a lot of people around the Youngstown area know what home games are, for probably 16 years. And I just got the idea. With people traveling to the Mountaineers, to the rivers, to Cleveland, why drive an hour when I can
Right here in
legally open up a club with membership, which is 100% rake-free with no alcohol, and bring them players here to enjoy themselves.
Now,
So
there aren't many sports clubs like this in Ohio.
there is probably about 8,
Okay.
and I copied this idea off a sports club called Shark Tank Poker down in Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
And I went down there prior to opening up, and I got with the owner, and we went over a lot of things, and he said, you're going to do really well up there because it's kind of centrally located within Cleveland, Pittsburgh.
Sure. Now, membership. How do people join the club? How much does it cost?
It's definitely 21 and over. I know there's no alcohol, but 21 and over. It's $25 for the year, and that includes your daily playing that day. Any other day you come in, it's just a $25 daily fee through the door.
Okay.
I run tournaments on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. If you strictly come in on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday and play in the tournament, it's only $15.
Okay.
So if you continue to play in the cash game, it's just that extra $10 for that $25 a day. I run cash games only on Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays. Tournaments on Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays, but a lot of the times, Jeff, is cash games break out after our tournaments are over. So really, it's cash games.
What are
every
your
night.
hours here then?
Hours are Sunday through Thursday. We're open 7 to 2.
Okay.
And then Friday and Saturday, we're 7 to 3.
Till whenever.
Yeah.
When you're done playing.
But lately, I'll be honest with you, through member, people wanting, more action and whatever else, I'm doing a high hand now on Saturday nights. I'm opening up early now on Saturdays. I open up at 2 and I have a $500 high hand.
Okay.
So, but this weekend coming up, I know this is airing on a Friday, correct?
Yeah.
So tomorrow, when you guys see this, I'm opening up at 7 because it's the 4th of July. I'm going to run the high hand on Sunday. So I'll be
Okay.
open Sunday from 2, but it's basically 2 in the morning and then 3 in the morning on Fridays and Saturdays.
It's something we talked about before we started taping. You got professional dealers. This
That's
isn't a
correct,
shit
yeah.
show. This
No.
isn't a mom and pop.
No, this
Somebody's-
is
Real deal.
fully secured, gated. It's beautiful here. I mean, it's gated. I have security here. The
The inside is unbelievable. I mean, this is
appreciate
very,
that.
very nice.
Yeah, and I have Mountaineers Poker Room is no longer. Post-COVID, they're not even opening it up anymore. So I actually hired on 2 of the Mountaineer dealers to come up
Okay.
and deal for me. So they're driving up one's from Chester and one's from East Liverpool, and they're driving up 3-4 nights a week. So
Now, Brian and I are obviously skilled poker players. For the amateur that comes in here, I mean, they come in here, they can jump into tournaments. It's pretty easy going. They can learn the game if they
Yes.
don't know it or
How,
just.
to piggyback on that, how intimidating is it for
Right,
someone that's
right.
not a professional poker
I'll be
player?
honest with you. I was actually, prior to opening up, thinking about doing a morning session for ones that want to learn how to play poker.
Okay.
Now, like I said, I'm not a Phil Ivey or any professional, but I can kind of give you the gist of how the betting works, and because a lot of people don't know that. But yeah, these tables have, it's been a lot of action. It's been a good action, and I'm actually kind of changing the format, and all my members know. The higher players, I'm going to make it a 2-5 table, and then the amateurs, I'm going to keep it at 1-2 because I really don't want to lose those members
Right.
that want to come in and buy in for $150, and then the first hand it's gone.
Right.
I don't want to lose those, I don't want
Right.
to lose those guys. So
Right.
On a typical, what's your busiest night?
busiest nights are my Fridays and Saturdays.
Okay, so on a typical Friday, Saturday, how many people you got in here?
I've been averaging the last couple weeks probably between 30 and 35
Wow.
guys through the
That's
door.
awesome.
So I'm running 3 tables on Friday and Saturday.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How do you want to see this grow? I mean,
I tell you what, it's going to grow as long as they get the idea that I'm not raking,
Right.
because legally
That's
I can't
illegal.
do it. It's
It's
illegal, right? Correct. As long as I'm not raking or I don't have any alcohol, I'm okay.
And people cannot bring their own alcohol.
That's correct.
There's no alcohol allowed.
I didn't want to toe that line, Jeff. To be honest
Okay.
with you, if someone comes in here, oh, you got alcohol. Oh, we got poker tables in here too. It's
Right.
one of them things. And you know what?
Alcohol,
you know,
money flying.
Yeah.
And you know how it is
You
with
know.
people with money and alcohol and they're losing. It's just not a good mixture.
Speaking
So-
of that, have you seen any fisticuffs? Has
no,
people got close to that?
This is. I haven't had a one drop of trouble. So
That's awesome.
I mean, because you got pythons, so you
No.
can shut anything down. We saw you in the basketball game. Came in the one time. I said, "What the hell is Jamie?" I mean, his arms are this big. He's 50 years old, and his arms are this big. I mean,
well,
how's
not
that
50
even
years
possible?
old. But this post,
We're 50 years
yeah, right.
almost.
This post-COVID, I've lost some weight, but
So there's
I'll
nothing.
get back into the
There's
gym
nothing
for you.
illegal at 721 Sports Club. There might be something illegal in the weight room.
Well, actually, if Brian brings that up, I do have the weight room downstairs. If he opens it up. I got 3,000 square foot.
I've
downstairs.
never
We're gonna
seen
have
someone
fun
your age that big in my life.
Well, since we talked about this, let's change the topic then.
Yeah.
Some people might know you as your local varsity basketball official.
Correct.
And Brian and I have been in the game a long time. I think you are one of the top officials in the area, one of the top officials in the state.
I appreciate
You know,
that.
we've been fortunate to go to regionals and you see different officials,
Right.
and I'll put you up against all of them. But, what got you into officiating?
This is, I think, this year coming up would be, 2021 would be 24 years?
Wow.
I think, 96, 97. And you know who was in my first class? You guys are going to laugh. Ray Isaac was in my first refereeing class.
I used
You know
to
what
play
mean?
a lot of basketball.
Yeah. And there's still 3 or 4 guys that were in that class. I tell you what, I enjoyed playing the game. Of course, we played together
Right.
a little bit in high school. But I just wanted to see the other end of it. And I
Yeah.
was young, and that was kind of my, let's keep in shape, I was still finishing up at YSU because I was done playing baseball there. And I'm thinking, well, what else to do in the summer is just make a little extra money and run around a little bit.
Right.
And I grown to love refereeing, and I met a ton of great people, great coaches on the women and boys side. So, I mean, it's...
You didn't take the jump into varsity right away.
I did not. Only because, it's kind of funny, and a lot of the officials know, you can show up for a 7th and 8th grade game. You don't have to show up an hour before. You don't
Right.
have to
We've talked
watch...
about
We
that.
have
Yeah.
absolutely talked
And
about
you don't
that.
have to watch the JV officials and kind of grade them and help them out at halftime. You can show up at a 7th and 8th grade game, and at the time, you can make a little bit more money than you did a varsity game. And then the varsity games are they're longer. So
More
you're there-
intense.
More
Yeah,
intense.
more intense.
More pressure.
Yeah. So I said, as much as they pushed me to become a varsity official, I'm like, not yet. I'm
Yeah.
just not ready yet. So
That's happened over the last 3 or 4 years?
no, I've been a varsity official consistently for about 12.
12, oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
Yeah.
time flies.
I know.
All right,
Alright,
so can I ask a
go
question?
ahead.
Speaking of more intense, coaches that you've had to deal with, the guy sitting across from you right now, how hard was it for you to officiate his games? Because I know he doesn't have the best reputation with the officials.
I'll be honest with you. Jeff was always good to me because I've known him. But I can see where his intensity can really shake an official.
Right.
And, when we go to meetings or, I look at my schedule and I see who I'm refereeing with and, before games start, this goddamn Rosille, what's he going to do? If he says one thing today, I'm whacking him, So, I was always, Jeff was always, can criticize me all he wanted because it was constructive.
Right.
And if he had a question, I'd come over and answer it for him.
Do they ever use me as an example at officials' meetings?
They do. They do. They usually
Not anymore.
not anymore.
They may be.
Maybe they probably have video.
I'm not
of
there.
it.
Remember Roselle from McDonald's?
I've always, we have the utmost respect for the officials. It's just not a job I would do. I think you guys are all crazy for doing it, but we need you.
Yeah.
And we need good officials.
We need.
When it's watered
we're
down, you can see
losing,
it.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Yes. And here's the thing, we bring this up in our meetings. Our biggest thing right now is the younger officials do not want to come into the game because of parents and coaches.
Yeah, I can
And
see that.
I can believe
it's
that.
an intimidation factor. I'm not putting myself through this.
Yeah.
So it's only going to get worse. So the younger officials aren't coming in, and then of course our association's getting older. Let's be honest. You guys
Yeah.
see what's
Yeah,
out there.
absolutely.
And I'm like I said, I'm not getting any younger, but physically I'm still able to do what I can do. But I'll be honest, there's just a lot of guys that are getting hurt. ACLs,
Yes.
knee replacements, Achilles. last 2-3 years, we've probably lost 15 guys.
It's and the game has sped up.
Oh,
I mean, it's clearly become a more athletic, faster game.
Definitely a faster game.
You know, they go to 3 officials, which is great, and I think that's beneficial to the game.
Right.
But yet, it's hard to find that many officials in the Mahoning Valley on a Friday night.
Right. Yeah. It's
Jamie, when we
it's
watched
tough.
you officiate, like, you were always pretty level-headed. It almost seemed like you let the kids play. You swallowed a whistle a lot. When you saw a foul, you called it. Some officials we thought were whistle happy and they're blowing all the time. Do you ever feel like you have to compensate for other, or do you find that you worked with guys enough that you kind of know what each other's going to do and how you're going to call a game?
I've worked with some really good crews that we keep it competitive, I guess is the correct word.
Yeah.
Now, if we look up and Jeff's yelling at me, Jamie, it's 8-2.
Yeah.
I know it's 8-2, but you're in a more of an aggressive team than the other team.
Well, Jamie,
right?
we never fouled.
Oh.
I don't know what you're talking about. In 20 years of coaching, I think that we might have committed 20 fouls, 1 per year.
He runs a full court press,
Yeah.
for what I mean,
32
for the whole
minutes.
game,
Yeah.
yeah. And the other team's running a zone,
But do you feel like, though, you're working off someone sometimes because
Yeah.
maybe he's calling too much, I got to step back?
And that's kind of in our pregame speech, I'll be honest with you, like before we start or at halftime, hey, listen, and we're pretty.
You're honest with each other?
Yes, we're very
Yeah.
honest with. Like, I'll just throw a name. Hey, Johnny, what were you seeing there when you called that? Like, you in that situation, that's not warranted a foul.
Yeah.
And it's usually the guy that's a 3 or 4 year guy. And no, they should listen to the 20-year vet
They
or the
absolutely
15-year
should.
vet. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But I'm not like if they ask me, I'm not the one that goes at the guys. I mean, there are some guys like that, but I was never the one to do that. So,
Just final question about officiating. Worst place. Do you want to name that place?
Ooh, worst place.
You may never be able to officiate there again, but go ahead.
I'll tell you what. When you get into Columbiana County,
Okay.
and the courts are smaller,
Okay.
and some of them rivalry games,
Yeah.
even your Sebring games and stuff like
Oh,
that. Even some of the southern locals. When you
Yeah.
go, like, you don't know what you're getting into down there.
Yeah, you're
You
crossing
know?
the Mason
Sebring
Dixon
and
line.
Southern
I'm
Local.
telling you.
I can say Sebring and Southern Local, we probably never want to go to again.
Yeah, I
There's some
mean-
of those were difficult times
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
us.
I mean,
Guy
it's-
chased me with the handrail.
I heard
I
that.
mean, it's a little crazy.
I mean,
Southern Local, we basically had a police escort out the one.
And they didn't have the bench where, like, the fans were right on you
Yeah.
because it was the
And they were
first.
screaming.
and
Yes,
I'll
but it's-
I'll tell you a quick story why I feel I became a better official. When I first officiated, I was doing East High, Hayes. I was in athletic 7th and 8th grade games that were more athletic than varsity games. And I'm thinking, man, I better really learn how to referee or this is going to be a long road
Yeah.
for me. And
You may not make it out.
I might not make it out,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, Hayes Junior High, I mean, they had that little track that, I mean, if you jumped,
Yeah.
you'd hit your head on
Yeah,
it.
you
It
shoot
was
a
just-
3, it hits the bottom of that track.
Yeah.
And the foul line on the opposite side was the over and back line.
Right.
So, obviously you
Yeah.
don't see that anymore, but it was a learning experience, that's for sure.
One final question.
Yeah.
You got inducted into the YSU Hall of Fame
Yes,
2016.
that's correct. Yeah.
awesome.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
But you are one hell of a baseball player. Do you miss it? Is that kind of why you're in the officiating? Is that kind of why you're in the poker scene?
I
Like
just-
the competitor?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. I mean, the camaraderie that I've built over the years, I think, has helped this too. Because not that I'm saying I'm pretty known in the area, but I'm a Curbstone Coaches inductee. I'm sitting next to Jim Tressel and Ernie Shavers, and you're talking about being out of the plate. Am I really a lot? Is this me here?
It's great company.
Yeah, it's pretty
Right.
good company.
Yeah.
So, you're talking in front of 600 people, and it's like. They know your name because it's Youngstown State and everything
Right.
like that, but it is the competitiveness. And I just started or stopped playing back I think in 15, amateur wise, because I was playing for the Canton Stallions down in Canton. But I got into coaching. I was coaching my son, and you know how that goes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it is the competitiveness. And I really, when it comes to the officiating, I'll bring that back. I love watching athletes play, and being right there on the floor, just watching them play.
Yeah.
It's exciting. I have a job to do, but when the fans are, the stands are packed with fans.
Nothing like it.
Yeah, I mean,
Nothing like
and I'm on top of it. And I'm hearing everything.
You're a part of it.
I'm part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I enjoy that.
The one thing I always appreciate about the kids is when you see that hard work, those kids are working hard,
Oh.
and it pays off.
Oh,
I mean,
of
it's
course.
awesome. So
I mean, I've seen your teams over the years, and it's just I'm like, how do these guys even go this long pressing and it doesn't look like they're winded? You've out.
I don't
what
know
I'm
how
saying,
we.
But I mean, you've
Because if you came to
outrun-
our practices
Yeah.
during
What
our.
I'm saying, you seem like you've outrun, like
Yeah.
you've outspent teams
Yeah.
more than other than the talent.
We were somehow able to get the kids to work hard for us, and that's a compliment to the kids.
Yeah,
you
for
know,
sure.
And it paid off for them. You know, they obviously had some success in teams.
But I am excited about the program. I caught the first episode. I'm like, boy, I'm excited about this.
Well, Jamie, before you leave,
Yeah, we have something for
Brian
you.
has trivia for you.
Oh God.
5 baseball questions.
Oh God.
We are in a poker room.
Okay,
If we want to
okay.
put some cash down on.
I was thinking that you and Jeff could put $5 each on
Okay.
each question. If you get it right, you get his $5.
That's
if
fine.
you miss it,
That's
I don't
fine.
think they're too hard. But
In
they're
1903.
But here-
no.
Wait,
They're multiple choice.
It's Major League Baseball.
Okay.
It's all major leagues. Multiple choice, and there are going to be 4 answers. So let me go through all 4 before
Okay.
you. Even if you know, let me get through all 4
Okay,
first.
okay.
All right? Are you going to do this?
I'm
You
gonna
ready?
do it. I'm
$5
ready.
a piece.
$5 a piece.
All right.
$5 a
Okay.
piece.
All right. Question 1: which professional player had the best career batting average in Major League Baseball history? A. Joe Jackson, B. Ty Cobb, C. Tris Speaker, or D. A.S. Muncher?
Boy, D's. I know it's not D.
We're so juiced.
I'm gonna say, what's the first 3 again? I'm sorry.
I can't give them
D,
again.
Muncher.
There's my.
Okay, yeah, the D threw me off.
Okay, A. Joe Jackson, B. Ty Cobb, C. Tris Speaker.
I'll say Trev Speaker.
It was B. Ty Cobb had a career batting average of .366. So Jeff, you got $10 or $5.
Five, easy. Holy smokes.
All right, 2. Who's the youngest player to hit 50 home runs in a season? A. Jimmy Fox, B. Ryan Howard, C. Prince Fielder, or D. D. Pat Mawini.
Jimmy Fox.
It was C. Prince Fielder. He was 23 when he hit 50 in 2017.
Jeez.
All right, 3.
see,
I don't know if I can get through
knowledge
5. I don't know if I can get through 5. All right, number
Call it
3.
an end after 3.
I might have to hand
already
it. No, I
losing
got
your
it. We
job.
got it. We got it. I took a long time on it. All right, 3. Who led the league in home runs in the 2010s? So for the decade.
Okay.
A. Mike Trout, B. Nelson Cruz, C. Jose Batista, or D. Amanda Hugginkiss.
Nelson Cruz.
It was Cruz who hit 346 of his 401 in that decade. So you're only up 5 now, Jeff. All right, 4. Who's the only pitcher to allow 50 home runs in a season? A. Burt Blyleven, B. Bronson Arroyo, C. Jamie Moyer, or D. Phil McCracken?
It's Bronson Arroyo.
It is A. Blyleven gave up 50 and 86 first year with the Twins.
Burt B. Home, Bly 11, huh?
Yep, Chris Berman reference there. That doesn't show our age at all.
No.
We just lost everybody 40 and under.
Chris Berman.
Is Chris Berman even on still?
I don't think.
I don't think.
Didn't he do something
yes,
wrong?
He was.
Oh, I thought he did something wrong. Oh,
Does he still do the
that was Jimmy the
football?
Greek.
Yeah, that was. Everybody knows Jimmy the Greek. Yeah. Rest in
Yeah,
peace, Jimmy
I
the
saw.
Greek.
Yeah, he spawned him on every once in a while.
Okay.
All right, what are we at now?
This is the last one.
What are you
I
down?
missed it.
You're down.
He's up 10.
Okay, number 5. What year did Ricky Henderson break Lou Brock's record for stolen bases?
Oh, you were a runner too.
I know.
A.
I know.
1982, B. 1987, C. 1991, or D. Harry Ascrack?
God, I know. I just remember Nolan Ryan striking him out for a no-hitter that one year.
D.
No. I'll say he broke Lou Brock in 87.
In 1991, Ricky stole his 939th base, breaking the record. He ended up with 1406.
Oh, I thought it was season. It's career.
In
Is
what
it career?
season did he break the record?
Oh,
What year?
oh, I got you.
I owe you 59.
Oh, we're good. Hey, Jamie, thanks for coming on. People, come on out to 721 Sports Club.
That's correct.
Out in Hubbard, Ohio. They're open 7 days a week.
That's correct, yeah.
Starting at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Come out here, have a good time.
It's a great place. Thanks
it's a
for
great
having us
place.
here.
Wonderful in here. Amateurs, professionals. So,
And we have a sibling coming up next.
And
we
we
have
have
Jamie's brother Joe coming
Joe
up for our
coming up
next
next.
interview.
Awesome.
okay, here we are with the last shot interview with Joe Palumbo, Jamie's brother. Joe, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am a 88 grad of Hubbard High School. I went to school with you guys, obviously. You guys know that.
You're a little older.
Yeah, a little bit older. I'll be 50 next month as opposed to, you guys. I basically have a roofing company now.
In Hubbard.
In Hubbard. I actually have a business in a Wexford address and a Hubbard office.
Okay.
So I do a lot of Western PA and Northeast Ohio work. My daughter is 16. She's a junior this year at Hubbard High School.
Okay.
I drove her away from basketball and softball within a 2-season period. So she's a dancer now, but I enjoy watching her dance. But I actually thoroughly enjoy watching all you guys coach the kids, and that's what keeps me into coaching.
Cool.
Yeah, and you're the varsity assistant or assistant coach at Hubbard?
Yes, sir.
In
I'm a
baseball?
volunteer baseball coach at Hubbard for the varsity squad. I coach with the Schiraldis.
Okay.
I was fortunate enough for them to let me join last year. I've been wanting to for several years, but I was working on the road a lot, so I wasn't able to commit. Now that I have my own business, I'm able to commit a lot more time, so I was able to get it done,
Nice.
and that was very enjoyable.
How was it this year with Corona? I mean, you guys were shut down.
We
Tough on
were-
the seniors.
We were, yeah. That's the worst part about it, to see the kids. We were 2 practices into the Watts Center week, and then we were scheduled to go to Tennessee the following week.
Okay.
And then we just got shut down. We kind of got a little bit of warning at practice,
Yeah.
but then that was it. And at that time, I still figured, okay, we'll be fine. Another month, we'll be fine. Then
Is it?
It's crazy. I mean, it's absolutely crazy.
I don't know what I would have done, and you guys, I'm sure, feel the same way if they would have tried to lop your season off towards the end like that.
Well, the commitment to the kids, I think about Zach. We were fortunate to get through his season, but could you imagine? I mean,
No.
you could, there's nothing like high school sports.
No.
You played at YSU?
Yeah, briefly.
Yeah, and college is great.
Yeah.
There's nothing like high school sports.
No, not at all. I guess the central locality of all the people you're
Kids,
playing.
yep.
And, in the summer I coach, so you get to see those kids playing together, and they all actually get along fine.
Yeah.
But during high school, it's a different animal.
Right.
And it's fun to see them go at each other. And then see them as friends in the summertime and teammates. So.
What does your team look like next year?
Next year we should be a little bit better. This year would have been a stress. So it was not a blessing because we didn't have our season, but we would have struggled a little bit this year. We lost, Jamie Thompson, who was up there in the state in steals. Lucas Mazzora was a beast.
Yeah.
He could play anywhere.
Great
he
football
could do
player.
and do anything you ask and pick it up like that. He started out in right field. We needed a more athletic first baseman. He came in and made plays that saved a few games. So losing those guys and Jimmy Palumbo at shortstop. That hurt a little bit. So we were going to struggle because we were young. Evan Jarvis will be coming up this next year as a senior, and he's a stud. He's D1 material for sure. We have some younger kids that are going to be coming up. Jake Hetrick's one. There's Keegan Balla. If I'm going to forget some names,
Yeah.
it'll probably upset some kids. But there's a lot of young kids coming up. They're going to help us out. And then there's a few 8th graders that are going to be. I hope to be able to see what my 4 years of help
Right.
has done, if possible.
You mentioned a kid D1 next year. You think you got a kid at D1?
Yes.
How hard is it?
It's pretty tough.
It's brutal.
Yeah, you have to be, especially now. These kids are better earlier, and you see stuff that I wasn't able to do till I learned how to do it.
You're
in
a
college.
fantastic player in
And
high school.
I
I remember
appreciate
that.
that.
I mean, yeah.
But these kids are further advanced. Not as many of them depth wise, but they're
But the top end.
Yes,
You
top
know,
end
I
is
had a
good.
conversation, a guy that I used to play some basketball with, he came up to me at an AAU tournament and he said, we were so much better than these kids. You're in dreamland. Like, you're in dreamland. And granted,
nice to say.
there's-
It's nice to feel
yeah,
good
it's
about
nice
yourself,
but,
right.
But listen, I'm nowhere near Zach, my son. The kids, the top end players, because of the training.
Yes.
I mean, it's 24/7, 52 weeks a year.
And it's advanced. They have
It's so
so many
advanced.
more
Trainers.
details,
Yeah,
yeah.
the coaching all year round.
What's the payoff for travel ball in baseball? Like, I know we talk about AAUs a lot and stuff like that in basketball.
For the kids, honestly, I have to be brutally honest. For the kids, it's exposure. But I'm not a huge travel ball fan.
That's
Right.
what we talk about.
So I'm not. I think it waters down. We go to these tournaments. I was coaching the Astro Falcons over the summer for the 14Us, and then the next year the 16Us. There may be 1 or 2 competitive games in those tournaments, and the rest is, a lot of it's their kid didn't get to play, so they start their own program, and
Coach,
it's just
bad coach.
exactly, it waters it down. And unfortunately, that's a byproduct of the travel ball, but they also get access to 24/7 facilities, 365, which we never had. You know, everybody would say, oh, it'd be great to live in Florida or Texas or something like that for baseball.
Right.
But now it doesn't matter.
Yep. I think that's the same thing we talked about with almost every sport.
It's difficult because every parent thinks they're doing their kid a service by paying all this money and putting them out there. And less than 2% of high school athletes get scholarships.
Correct.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
It's brutal. So you better be that good.
Yes.
And just playing travel ball doesn't make you that good.
No. It's not just how talented you are anymore. If you have an aspiration to do that, you better be in there because somebody else is.
Oh, no doubt.
So,
well, that's even what's changed, I think, in general is, you don't see the 3-sport star anymore because they are playing basketball, baseball, whatever, 12 months a year. Mm-hmm. And if they're not, unfortunately, somebody else is doing it. And it's it's not ideal, but it is what it is.
It's forcibly become that way.
That's what it is.
Yep. And there's very, very, very few, like Gehring comes to mind, was a decent basketball player, amazing baseball player, pitcher.
Yeah.
Pancake. Yeah, he's just an all-around athlete. That's the South Range kids.
Yeah.
They have a loaded baseball team. Some of my favorite ball players over there, and they have athletes, and even their depth. They're athletic all the way down. We have a few, but we're going to struggle, in depth all the time until these younger kids, either someone jumps on the wagon and starts playing a little more.
Right.
Or,
There's no magic pill.
Yeah,
you got to put the time in, and you got to, especially in baseball, it's a skill sport.
Yeah.
If you're not out there, if you can't hit the curveball, whatever it is,
yeah.
Right.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're not just walking up there and doing it.
No, kind of like trying to perfect the golf swing.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Well, Joe, we like to bring up controversy, so that's what our show's about.
I had a feeling this is coming.
We need like that icon or something in the corner of the screen that like it's a bridge burning.
That is a good one.
We'll have to work on that.
Flaming bridge.
2019 Hubbard baseball.
Yeah.
You guys won a tournament game, and then the next day you guys got disqualified by the state of Ohio. Can you just briefly talk about that?
Briefly, I don't know. Calmly, I'm going to try. We're playing Poland. Game that we were supposed to lose, but we had also rattled off 7 or 8 games in a row. We were a different team from when they beat us early in the season.
Yep.
Way different team. We knew we had a shot, but we had to hang with them offensively. We were playing at their house, which is a bandbox. You know what I mean? It's like a wiffle ball field. So we jumped on them early and put 4 or 5 up early, and then they came right back at us. They had their whole student body out there. Everybody was all over us. It was the most fun I've ever had.
It was a war.
It was awesome.
Everybody makes that comparison, but that was big time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I loved getting it from the kids on the other side because it was part of the gig. And
you don't mind it. You don't mind it. Come on.
As long as you're not being malicious to somebody,
Right.
have your fun. Call me whatever you want. Just don't be malicious.
I agree.
And it got a little saucy at times, but we ended up coming up on top. And the next morning or the next day, I was about to tee off for league, and I got a phone call, and they said, "Are you sitting down?" And I found out that we were bounced because we played a game, some obscure rule that your students can't be in class, and you can play in Ontario. So you can go to London, Ontario and play, but you can't play 2 states away from your border state. We didn't know. We got bounced, and whoever turned us in is gutless because you let those kids play that game.
That's absolutely.
Yep.
The person who turned you in obviously knew before the game that this took place.
That's my
And they
problem.
sat on it, they put it in their back pocket, and they waited until you won.
Exactly.
Clearly, it's got to be somebody from Poland who turned you in.
I would assume so.
And if they win that game, there's nothing said.
We did the same thing the year before. No one said a word.
Right.
Because you lost.
Exactly.
Because you
Right,
lost,
yeah.
and they didn't care. That to me is bullshit.
Yes, it's complete.
Because it takes away from the kids. The kids didn't.
They earned it.
They earned it.
Right.
Yep.
If they wanted to report that, they should have reported that before you played the game, before the tournament started.
Before the tournament
started, disqualify you. Hey, listen, this sucks. We did the wrong thing. That's the rules. May not like the rules, but those are in place. But after we beat you, come on.
I don't even want it. It made me so angry that the Poland kids didn't get their fair due because now everybody was like, "You guys didn't win."
Right.
They went and beat
Right.
Niles and Canfield, who was a strong team that year. Should have won. Should have came out of our area, but they beat them as well. So good for those kids. But our kids, one thing they'll never take away is the feeling after the game, our team photo,
Yeah,
you know,
you're
with all
right.
those smiles. And I go
Right.
back and I look at that.
Yeah.
And we're the only team that has never lost their final high school game and did not win a state championship.
There you go. That's not
Yeah.
bad.
So we have that, I guess.
Yeah.
Talking about coaching a little bit, we talked to Jamie earlier with your dad. Your dad was a legend coaching in Hubbard, you know,
Appreciate
and I mean all levels. You know, I think I played for him one year in midget football. I think, you know, and everybody knew him from Little League and football. And was it hard for you to go coach after you lost your dad? Is it different for you? Because I know that's a sport you guys probably did together.
Ironically enough, that's why I was coaching summer ball. I was coaching a 16U team coming up, and he was excited as heck for that season and passed away. I had a heart attack April 11th of 2018, and he had one 3 weeks later, passed away. And the very first, I want to say Memorial Day weekend, or the first holiday weekend down at Scene Park, it was in between a double dip, and I was just standing there. I'm going to tear up even talking about it. And I'm just standing around looking around, and no dad.
Yeah, he's
my
always
wife and
there.
daughter. Are
He's
gonna be
always there, right?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
We talked in between games,
Yeah.
and that kind of soured me a little bit, but I stuck with it.
Yeah.
And those kids ended up winning the NABF World Series,
Which is awesome.
And one of our kids wore his hat during a tournament, and made it all worth it.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's great. Well, even back then, I mean, we knew the Palumbo name, and you're carrying on that tradition, so I think that's awesome.
I appreciate it.
Joe, let me
Thanks,
throw
guys.
this out. Tom Craig
Yes.
from Florida.
Stud.
He's in between us.
Yeah.
You know, you were 2 years ahead of me. He was a year ahead of me. And
Yeah.
he reached out to me, and he started talking about Little League baseball. And he's like, do you remember when Patton's played Reardon's in the championship? I said, geez, oh man, it's so long ago. All our dads coached. I mean,
Yes.
I drove by Jonesville today. They don't even use it.
They
I mean,
use
that's
it
where
for-
we live.
They use it for girls softball.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. We used to go there during the day and play pickup games.
Yeah,
I mean,
full teams.
Yeah, full team pickup
Yeah.
games. No cell phones, no nothing.
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
bike better be there.
Yeah.
I think I spent my whole childhood at Jonesville.
I would
Literally.
have to agree.
I mean,
You
it's just
especially,
crazy. I
yeah.
mean, it's
Your dad
crazy.
coached for 30, 40
35
years. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's just crazy. But Tom Craig reached out and was bringing that up, and I'm like, it seems like yesterday. but yet,
we were loaded. Our Little League team is. I
We
mean,
were
our
D1
whole-
for
like half our team
9-year-olds.
played college baseball.
insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
I will. And then one other thing I wanted. Oh, what the heck was it? I can't remember now.
You guys have started up a scholarship fund for your dad in your dad's name.
Yes.
So you have a golf outing coming up here in the summer.
Yeah, my brother came to me a few weeks ago, about a month ago, and brought up the possibility, what did I thought of having a scholarship golf outing, or a golf outing, to provide scholarships
Sure.
for Hubbard athletes. Thought it was a great idea. I know that Terry Gilligan did the same thing, Mikey and Dougie's
Yep.
dad. And I think they still provide scholarships for YSU athletes. So I thought it was a great idea. We formed it. It's the Joe Palumbo Memorial Scholarship Foundation.
Awesome.
And the outing is Monday, August 3rd at Pine Lakes in Hubbard.
You still have availability for that?
We still
day?
have availability. It's going to fill up pretty quick.
Okay.
It's a 3-man scramble, 180 a team. Mind me asking off screen, Jamie, what are the prizes? What are we doing? First place?
First place 600.
First place 600, second place 300, and third place 100.
Nice.
It's going to be a Chinese raffle, whole sponsors, and so on and so forth.
Give away
So-
a baseball and a football.
If they
Oh,
want,
nice.
they can go to your Facebook, Jamie's Facebook.
They
and
can go to the actual Memorial Foundation has a Facebook page, but I will see if I can figure out the technology.
We don't know.
Good
either.
luck with that.
We don't know either.
We can't help you with that at all.
Yeah, so you're going over here.
Me too.
I'm lucky to get it out there. I was lucky to get it out there and share it. I was
That's
happy
awesome
to
that
do
you guys are doing that.
Yeah, and it's going to provide a scholarship for a football player and then a senior baseball or softball.
Oh, great.
So,
So hopefully we make it big by August, and if you need some celebrities to come out, Jeff and I will
Telling
sign
you,
We'll
it.
sign autographs.
you guys gotta be out there. You gotta have some of that FCP swag.
Maybe we could just bring the whole set. We'll
Yeah,
interview
yeah.
people
We might do
during.
that.
There you go.
We can tape right there all the Hubbard people coming through.
Exactly. Yeah, that would be awesome
Yeah, we
because
could do that.
imagine the shape everybody's going to be in on the way in. So
Well, Joe, we are going to end
here we go.
with
The shot
the
clock.
shot clock. 35 seconds. We do college shot clock. You got rapid fire questions. Brian's going to ask you questions. You have to answer them as honestly as you can. Can we give Joe one pass?
No passes.
No passes? Oh. Joe,
Joe
thank God
shot
you-
every time. Joe never passed the ball.
Joe, thank God
dribble,
you
that's why.
own your own business.
I dribbled like a toddler.
You can't get fired because you are the boss.
Okay.
But here we go. I'm going to move to
I could lose a lot of
my guy.
business.
Brian. I'll tell you when we're ready.
We're going for 35 seconds.
35 seconds. We may extend this a little longer. Are we ready?
We're ready.
All right, go.
Super speed or super strength?
Super speed.
Hairy back or hairy neck?
Hairy back.
Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Soccer or tennis?
Tennis.
All right. We got weightlifting. Big on top or big on the bottom?
Big on top.
Women. Big on top, big on the bottom.
I'm a rear end man. I'm going to say big on top, but not too big on the bottom.
That's kind of half answer. Fruit or vegetables?
Fruit.
2 more questions.
No. Frankie Lindor or Omar Vizquel?
Vizquel.
Wife or girlfriend?
Wife.
Last
Good
question.
thing I got that out.
That's the right answer. Last question.
Last question, go ahead.
Piss your pants or mud butt?
I've done both. I'm going to say piss my pants.
All right.
That's it for
There you
shot
have it. We are done with episode 2
Yep.
of Full Court Press.
Yep.
This will be airing on July 3rd,
4 o'clock on YSN.
4 o'clock on YSN. You can follow us on Twitter at FCPYSN, or you can follow us on Facebook, Jeff Rizzo.
And we want to thank the Palumbo brothers for showing up
You
tonight.
Come on out to 721
Sports Club.
Sports Club, awesome place.
Jeff's going to come out and lose all his money, so come take his money.
Yeah.
All right? See
All
you in
right.
2 weeks.
We'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot, guys.
Thank you.